In this adventure, Ian, Mark, Shahab, Daniel, Nathan, and I do the Goat Rocks Wilderness Trail in Washington State. This was a 2-night, 3-day adventure that took us from the forest floor all the way up in the mountains and back down again in a nice 30-mile loop. We started from Berry Patch Trailhead, which is in the middle of the forest, but within the first couple miles you rise up past the forest floor on top of Goat Ridge. Then along the Goat Ridge Trail there's Goat Lake, and after hiking across the east side of the valley we set up camp for the first night. The next day we junctioned with the PCT, crossed Cispus Pass, proceeded past Sheep Lake, and made it to the top of Naney Peak. We ended the day at Wallop Lake, which was our second camp spot, and last day we left the lake via Wallop Lake Road, crossed the Cispus River, trekked across some more forest floor, and made it back to our car by noon. We got an early start and drove out to the trailhead, and we were super surprised at how many other cars were there. The trail requires a self-disclosed hiking permit, so we had to fill that out at the trailhead.
Oh shit. Alright, let's take that. Let's take up the top of that thing and really go.
Around midday we reached Goat Lake, where we took the opportunity to eat some snacks and filter some water. Now look at us like a little goblin. My precious. At the suggestion of many hikers we met on the way up, Mark and I also decided to test the waters.
I mean, I guess you don't have to bring too much else then. Yeah, it's lightweight.
As Ian wisely mentioned, it was not going to be very lightweight of us to bring swim trunks, so we made do without. After defrosting myself, we continued on to the first camp spot of the trip. That afternoon was marked by amazing views of Mount Adams in the background, and we began to set up camp after a solid day of hiking. After dinner, we decided to try bear bagging our food just as a precaution, which did not go as planned. Ian, what do you think of this predicament?
I think I need to know more knots, because I could be more useful.
You do not need to know more knots.
I do.
As it became darker and darker, it somehow became easier to make light of our silly situation that we were stuck in.
Yeah, the bears
blows in a different direction.
Exactly.
And after some goofing around and finding the right tree, it became pretty easy.
Well, let's see if we can get it up. Wait, I'm gonna.
Oh, that worked so well.
Yeah, definitely tell. Bit in my food. How are you in a pack? Oh, there are. Well,
The next morning, after a bit of a late start, we hit the trail for what would be our longest day. After a brutal uphill across Sispus Pass, we took a pretty long lunch break, and I took a nap. Most of us either ate dried ramen or nuts and beef jerky, and personally I kept munching on my little Ziploc bag of nuts throughout the entire trip. Sheep Lake was the next big waypoint on our trail, and it was early afternoon at this point, and some of us were feeling pretty tired, but we pushed on. Mark, Ian, Daniel, and I still had some energy left in us, so we left Shahab and Nathan to rest and made a quick packless detour up to the summit of Nanny Peak, which was the last point in the loop that we'd be at such a high altitude. What do you think, Ian?
I feel like the person in that romantic era painting, staring out over the mountains.
Yep, and he has like a cane,
Yeah,
that one?
cane,
Yeah, and it's at sunset or something?
Yeah, that guy was traveling ultralight. You don't see his pack in that painting.
Oh yeah, just a cloak and a cane. When we rejoined the group, morale was fairly low, but when we saw the sunlight glinting off our destination, Wallop Lake, we started feeling a little bit better. And after finding a small clearing in the woods next to the lake, we started to set up camp for the night. How those taters, Mark?
Tastes amazing. Actually tastes amazing.
Setting up a bear bag for the second night was a bit easier, and after some shenanigans, we called it a night. Alright, good work, boys.
You did it.
You told me I could have my coffee? No, sauced apple. No, Mark. You must relinquish thine horrendous caffeine addiction. No, never. I don't wanna.
Oh, REI Co-op Tent, thank you for your wisdom.
REI Co-op Tent wishes you all to go to bed. To get 8 hours of Snuggies and Wuggies before the finishing hike tomorrow. What type of dog is this?
Right, it's about potato today.
Morning, lads.
Good morning.
The only obstacle we encountered on our way back was the Sispus River, which took a good half hour of figuring out to get all 6 of us, in varying levels of tiredness, across safely. The final stretch back to the trailhead, around 4 or 5 miles, was the toughest by far. We were beginning to run out of snacks, and the trail itself wasn't easy to follow. I also ran out of gummy bears and electrolyte powder, which I had been consuming and distributing periodically as pick-me-ups when anyone was starting to run out of energy. But the final stretch of the gravel forest road eventually gave way to the parking lot, and we made it! Alright, boys.
We made it back.
We made it!
We did it.
Even though this was only a 3-day, 2-night adventure, we were all pretty sore and in need of showers by the end of it, and legend has it that one of the guys never took their socks off the entire trip. I won't name who though. But yeah, it was pretty fun, and thanks for coming along on this adventure with us.